Hello, everybody. Today we'll be talking about alliances and ventures in emerging market. Yes, everything to do with how to build and grow a business inorganically, possibly. So, what are we looking at? It alliances and ventures. Remember, the word that I utilized is inorganic growth. Had it been an organic growth, it would have been funded from inside the organization. The organization would have grown on its own. But when we'll be talking about a handshake between two parties so that it mutually benefits each other is what the inorganic growth is all about it. So here we go, alliances and joint ventures in emerging markets. Basically, I will be talking about the cooperations, why it is required between two corporates, reasons to cooperate, what exactly motivates them, and how does it affects their bottom line, what kind of partnership we are talking about in, and the alliances and the cooperation in the retail and the wholesale sectors. So, classification of an enterprise. Now, as per the European statistics, it, this classification has been done or stated, and which might change from government to government, country to country. But let me allow you to give the most standard thing that has been stated around is the European Union, which states up to 9 employee comprises of only micro enterprises. Below 99 employees, or may I say below 100 employees, is what we call as small enterprise. Anything beyond 100 employees but less than 500 employees would be classified as a medium enterprises, and beyond everything 500 employees you will consider as a large enterprise. So yes, let me classify based on the size of the organization. When I talk about the size of the organization, the number of employees that are working in that particular organization, below 9 in a single digit thing would be a micro enterprise. Below 3 digits, that's 99 employees and below, would be considered as a small enterprise. And anything below 500 is to be classified as medium enterprise. Anything above 500 would be classified as large enterprise. So, disadvantages. Let me talk about the disadvantages of small and medium enterprise SMEs. Limited possibilities of finances, definitely yes, because they are small, because they are medium enterprises. This disadvantages causes secondary problem. Probably they don't have the skills, the technical abilities, or probably the know-how of the market. You name it, and we have it. Then definitely yes, there's a higher interest rate at the bank. If you have to fund your operations through debt, probably it is not very lucrative, and that is a reason why you should go for alliances and joint ventures, where at least the fund crunch would be solved. Underutilization of the production machines, employee motivations. Now, what about the large companies? Now, this is where it goes with complexity in its working environment. In terms of bureaucracy, we talk about less and probably negligible flexibility. They are bound by rules and procedures, and that is what the advantages and disadvantages. Mostly the disadvantages for small and medium enterprise and the large companies thereby. So everybody has their own pros and cons. So main purpose of the alliances. First, we are talking about the activities, the resources. Everybody might have a core competencies. Every organization should have a core competencies. If the core competencies complement each other, it helps both the organizations to grow, right? So that is what we are looking into it. Then comes the competition battle reduction. Definitely yes, I've already highlighted the fact that fund crunch is one of those basic reasons for why you go for inorganic growth instead of investing money from your profits or probably taking a loan from the bank. Why not have a win-win situation when you join hands? Then we have knowledge creation, transmission, and utilization. This is one major interesting thing. Now, people might say, why should a large company partner with a small and medium enterprises? Perhaps they have to join hand because they might have the technical abilities, but they do not know the market penetration strategies as a small and medium enterprises would be comprising of, because they are essentially localized. So they essentially know the ins and outs of the markets. And this is something, the knowledge needs to be built up by the large companies. And this is where the small and medium enterprises might help. So knowledge creations helps the large companies. Vis-a-vis, Even the small companies benefit because they come to know about the various technological advances that have taken places for the large companies thereby. So yes, we are talking about knowledge creation, transmission, utilization. Definitely, yes, is the power shift, change in the bargaining power, image and trustworthiness shift. Now, this is where you need to understand there is this concept of nationalism that might be sowed in a seed altogether. So, until and unless you take a local partner, the trustworthiness doesn't develop in the local market. So it's always better to have a local partner whose goodwill you can always encash upon it. And most importantly, the last but not the least one is cost reduction. Cost reduction, wherein you need to bring down your cost by having a partner, a suitable partner, if I may say so. Let me tell you about the theories why this particular organizational cooperation takes place. There are a number of things that comes around here. Why do we go for interorganizational cooperation? First and foremost is this resource dependence. What do you need to go around it? How do you want to build it? This resources might be available at the local level, right? The minerals deposit, the knowledge of the market. Now these are the resources that has been focused on onto the local driven organization. Now, a large organization might not be able to catapult itself or its activities overnight without the help of the local and medium organization. So we need to understand that this formalization of external control of organization, what has been stated by Pfeiffer and Slanik way back in 1978. Then we have got the transactional cost theory. Definitely, yes. One of the transactional cost theory is it has to be a win-win situation for both the firms to join hands. They can increase the market share, number one. Probably they can increase the revenue, number two. They can increase the customer base, number three. You look at it, what we are looking at here, there might be ancillary benefits also. Let's say technological transfer is one of those benefits that goes around it. Exploration to the other market, probably entry to a newer market would be in the scheme of things. So yes, until and unless both the organization benefit, or in other words, there is a transaction which benefits each others, you don't go it. So this was stated way back in 1937 by Mr. Arcos. Then definitely yes, the legitimate factor of social network theory, sociometry, Moreno, Milgram, Granover, Burt, everybody has stated the same thing. You have cultures inbuilt within a region, and those cultures differed from region to region. Now you need to engage those cultures to engage the people, the community, so that they adapt your product, your facilities, your services. And that is what social network theory is all about it. Business collaboration. Let me talk about the four C's. The C for competition. As usual, it is only business. Competition is either I win or I lose. Either you win or you lose. So somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. A sense of competition. Let us talk about the second C, as in communication. Now, this is where you have to make your information about your operation, about your intention available to your partners. Be as transparent as they can work, because this will only build trustworthiness. This will only build a sense of belongingness towards the activity. This is where the outcome benefits both the vendors, both the partners, both the customers, both the companies. You name it, it's a win-win situation that we talk about it only if we have a wonderful communication among each other. Then comes the third C of coordination. This is where one job, we are talking about the core competencies of the companies altogether. A core competency of the company, if it complements with the core competency of another company, it's a wonderful leverages that can be utilized where both the companies benefit each other. This is where coordination comes in. This is how it has to be done around it. Last but not the least of the C's are cooperation. Remember, the first three are competition, communication, coordination. The last one is cooperation, where in each companies work as a unit. When each company maintaining their singular identity works as a unit and projects the operation in a much bigger fashion. Look at the laptop, look at the Android devices that you are utilizing. Probably the chip, the microchip, is been provided by either by Ryzen or Intel. You look at it how they are wonderfully flourishing all together. This is what I call a symbiosis, almost entity enterprising displaying singular characteristics. So each company would depend on each other. Yes, that is what cooperation is all about. It. Allow me to give you the linkages, intensity of linkages. Look what we are looking into it. On the next axis, as the intensity lessens or increases, if you go from right hand side to left hand side, it lessens. If you go from left hand side to right hand side, it increases. So if you look into it, if the intensity is very good, it's both the companies are absolutely close to each other. But if the intensity is missing, they are non-cooperation. They're almost working as a singular unit and probably competing with each other. The business scenario is either I win or either I lose. It's not a sum all win game, right? Absolutely non-cooperation. But if you have those segment as with the intensity, you from either a closed unit, you become a joint ventures or probably a strategic alliances or an open unit and a non-cooperation. On the other hand, other way around, if you want to go in, go say intensity increases from 0 to 1, you will have during zero intensity, it's no non-cooperation. During open a little closer to the intensity, if you increase it, probably you are telling them, yeah, communicating with your technologies, probably you have been transparent with your operation, so you become open. Then comes the strategic alliances where both are working with in tandem with each other and they are scratching each other's back as such. So that is what we are looking into it. Then comes the joint ventures as on when on possible. So this is how we have to go it. Let me talk about the transactional cost then and thereby. What are we looking into it? We are stating about low concentration and high concentration. In terms of high concentration, it becomes mergers, joint ventures, strategic alliances. As you become as a more unit, as a singular unit, you start functioning as a singular unit. From strategic alliances, where you are probably selling each other's unit or probably giving a part of the operation, then becomes a joint venture when you people are dependent on each other's altogether, and mergers where you are actually working as a single company. On the other hand, at the low concentration, you have a transactional structure, which is you give some, you take some. Absolutely, it's on a transactional basis. Or probably you work as a syndicate in form of a group. In between is your strategic supplier partnerships or relationship and tactical market alliances. So these are the things that needs to be understood time and again. Let me talk about the strategic partnership. Look what we are talking about, the resources, and it can be an open form of cooperation, occasional cooperation from time to time, ad hoc basis, salient informal agreement. Nothing has been there in pen and paper, but everybody understand who is going to do and what kind of work. Probably the premium segment, certain companies are going to occupy the the mass segment. The other companies would be vying for attention. Now these are salient agreement altogether. We have the informal collaboration with information sharing. Yes, we have production, assembly, buyback agreement, management, marketing, service agreement. Then we have the licensing and outsourcing. Yes, we are talking about franchising, preferred suppliers and buyers, joint ventures, close form of cooperation, be it mergers, be it acquisition. Now, these everything forms the strategic alliances as the case might be. Let me give with the strategic alliances. What we are looking at, it is just one form of partnership as the case might be. Relationship where more than two, at least minimum two organization share certain information, participate in certain kind of investment, go with certain operation which have been linked to a common process and benefits both the organization. This is what a relationship is all about it. A strategic alliances is a partnership between two or more companies to pursue agreed upon goals and the remaining independent organizations. Strategic alliances comes in every shapes, every sizes, which includes a wide range of cooperation from contractual to equity forms. Now, what is the definition according to the American society, look what we are looking into it. We are talking about the open structures of an agreement. We're talking about the separate companies sharing common interest and goals, and this form the strategic alliances, informal collaboration, sharing of information, which are interesting for both the parties. Essentially, the vendors and the suppliers and the subscribers and the companies, you name it, and we have it. The partners can share the experiences and other data source resources. Considering the market condition, experiencing with other partners, handshake agreement, probably just for the fact that it has to be shown, displayed to the media, to the public, to the knowledge that can build a sense of trust and semblance. It is what we are talking about all. Now let us understand the preferred suppliers and buyers. Agreement connected with the special position of a partners. Long-term agreement as on when on basis. Enterprise tends to have much lesser supplier to create with them a long-term relationship so that they are dependent on each other. They would not look for why for any other partnership or any other business deal beyond that relationship. Let's say, giving you an example of Skoda Auto with a partnership of Melada Paul Slave, as the case might be. Let us talk about the single agencies, the single unit, a single company. Let's say the Starlift. What are we looking into it? An exclusive agent of Mitsubishi Caterpillar forklift trucks. They have an exclusivity with them, and they will manufacture all material handling equipment with a wide range of be it industrial, be it commercial application. Starlift is also the distributors for the lift trucks. Alongside, it provides customers to Mitsubishi Company with maintenance services. Now, this was a corporation that started way back in 2000 2015, and it is still going strong. Starlift Company is a sole distributor in the Slovak market. Slovak market is the European market. We are talking about a particular country out here. Production, assembly, buyback agreement. Look, what are all kind of alliances that we can have it. The participation companies can exploit the advantages. So you can be in production where you do a part production, absolutely a part production for the bigger product. A case in hand, an example would be, let's say a vendor is producing only the tires, which is required for the cars or the automobiles the company is manufacturing. Cooperation connected with fluently recovering the capital equipment, and this is what we are looking into it. Now, why this fluidity is required? So that you are launching a product and the product gets widely accepted. But does it mean that you are not going to do an R&D, research and development, and launch newer products? So what will happen to the previous older product? Can we have a buyback agreement with the companies or with the customer? This not only augments my launch of new product, but probably influences the customer with the trust that they will not be looted around it. They will have some kind of buyback arrangement for the product altogether. So this is what we should be looking into it. Marketing, management, service agreement, you name it, and we have it from the retailer segment, the supplier segment, the vendor segment, to the supply chain thing, agreement concerning a collective solutions and implementation of external processes. The external process can be presented by mutually coordinating marketing strategies. Example is Technicode, cooperation in strategic planning of marketing activities. We are talking about Sky Team, Star Alliances, which is working with a lot many airlines for providing in-flight catering services, as the case might be. This is what the cooperation of the airlines that goes around here. Then we have the licensing factors, wherein a lot many companies, essentially, I'm just giving you an example of the Czech company Technocode, which operate in just coating or painting business, specializing in the application of industrial coating, rubber painting, if I may say so. So yes, the rubber coatings or the Teflon coating, Xylene coating, Dicor, Halar, Rilsan, and you name it, and we have it. Then Technicode was awarded with a DuPont license to apply Teflon fluoropolymer coatings in DuPont licensed industrial application. Now, this is what needs to be understood. Technicode is the supplying with every market in Poland or in Slovakia. Success of these kind of cooperation makes it trouble free, makes it issueless, makes the knowledge of sharing absolutely a must for both of them. Now, let me give you a brief idea of the joint ventures, and basically an agreement between two or more firms to undertake a particular business strategy, a particular plan of action. It has to have a legal entity. Two companies wants to cooperate. Probably they want to share knowledge, they want to share markets, they want to share profits, and they decide to create another company for this very particular concern, and that is known as joint ventures. In this the corporate relations typically for the enterprise with foreign capital, when there is an influx of foreign money coming into a particular country. Close form of cooperation, absolutely tight, watertight cooperation. Now we're talking about is mergers, essentially mergers and acquisition. Acquisition we can occupy it forcibly. Mergers you merge with your own suite will both the companies know that it is better to merge and work as a single unit. Acquisition when probably you it can be a hostile acquisition also. So yes, let me tell you about the KSF or the key success factors for both, which stands true for both mergers and acquisition. First and foremost is the ability to integrate the market. Next would be synergies. Are there synergies available in the between both the companies? If minimum two companies, three companies, four companies, as a case might be, if the synergies are not there, please desist from those mergers and acquisition. Competitive position of the company acquired, probably they might have a bigger market share, or they might have a good R&D facility, or they might have some uniqueness which you are lacking. Evaluation of acquisition candidate, definitely yes, needs to be done. Management abilities of the company acquired, as in their technical abilities, prior experiences by making acquisition, market growth of the company acquired, technological position, compatibility of the management style, as in what kind of cultures that has been flourishing in the other companies, price paid, aid from public authorities, the process of strategic alliances. I'm very sure about it that everybody's understood it, but still, let me go ahead. You should follow this arrow path, which says about partnership assessment and selection, moving to alliances, then probably alliance management and assessment and transformation. The other way around is where you do it on a micro basis. What is your strategy? What is your goal? Does it align with other companies? If so, you start searching and evaluating the advantages and disadvantages, probably looking for synergies. Once if you found it, then probably you should approach whether they are interested for certain kind of alliances. If the identification is done, we are negotiating upon it, the alliances actually take places. And then we start working as in the cooperation plan, the management takes place, everybody comes to know what exactly is expected. Similarly, this is another way to go around it. I'm sure that most of you would be understanding. We have taken this from the process model of Global Strategic Alliance Firm way back in 2000, early 2001, which was published in the Business Process Management Journal. Essentially, four stages, if I may say so. First is the exploration stages where you are looking for an alliances or joint ventures. Possibly why? Because you might have an excess capital. Possibly why? Because you want to acquire a new market. Possibly why? Because you want to increase your revenues. There might be a number of reasons. You might like to build a brand. You might like to build a reputation. You might like to encash upon it. So those are the exploration stages. Then come the recurrent contract stages, wherever you are probably negotiating with the viable partners. And if this can happen, we start with the relational contract stages where you form the joint ventures, where you acquire the joint ventures or merge with the joint ventures and they start working as a single unit. Now you need to understand whether this is coming in a great fashion as per the expected result, and that is what the outcome stage is all about it. Cooperation in the retail and the wholesale stage is the stages of cooperation: purchasing, payment alliances, purchasing, selling alliances, marketing alliances, and service organization. Look how it can be done. So anybody can be a vendor who can be just be a provider of a materials, products. Anybody else can be into retail sector where they will get your product and sell their product. Absolutely, I'm not going to produce or I'm not going to just supply the thing, but probably you supply, I will make ensure that there is enough sales around it. So you need to go around here. There can be another variation wherein you only produce and you only sell, but I will market it I will create the demand. And that is what is marketing alliances would be all about it. And then there is the service organization, probably after sales service or pre-sales service, demonstration and all can be done by us and by the alliances, and probably you can work upon it. So this is the level of integration that comes around it. And you see the intricacies of integrations increases from service organization to marketing alliances to purchasing and selling alliances to purchasing and payment alliances. You see the responsibilities which grows by leaps and bounds. Now, why dissatisfaction? Why do many a times alliances don't work? Because people have different agendas, because organizations don't follow the dotted line, whichever is written. So low rate of strategies conformity, unrealistic expectation concerning difficulties of establishment and running the alliances. Most importantly, that doesn't work because key workers leave the organization. Key workers gets dissatisfied that they work for a company and suddenly the company gets been taken by somebody else, or their reputation or their influences get diminishes. So they leave the workers. So key workers don't want to work. Key workers don't manage to fulfill the qualification required. Probably they might be working in a smaller way. Their influences were good, but in a larger organization, they lose their influences, they lose their working style, and as a result, they might not be a, they might exactly be a misfit to the bigger entity altogether. So they are not able to manage to fulfill the qualification required. And definitely, you have your competitors who will like to pinch it to you so that their alliances don't work. So enemy effort to become independent with regard to the founder. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.